This is my video for History 318. My name is Catherine Kelso, and I'm going to review Unit 1. I am only doing one unit because the instructor said that was okay, as I could not get a hold of my team members in time. In order to keep this in the theme of having done the whole 3 units in less than 8 minutes, I'm going to try and keep this as short as it would need to be to make that work. So our Unit 1 themes, we talked mostly in the time frame of 1790 to 1860, which is pre-Civil War. We covered the politics of engineering, and most of what that had to do with was who benefited or didn't benefit from an engineering change or in engineering's products. And one of the things we talked about to illustrate that point was screw threads. And the screw thread that became standard in the United States needed less skilled labor to make it, which benefited unskilled laborers, but was not benefiting skilled laborers who now had less work. The other thing we talked about in that unit is learning engineering, how people learned engineering, and that was mostly dependent upon where you were. So if you were in Europe and you were British, most British engineers learned on the job. In Britain, engineering was mostly for business, and people worked for businesses and in industry. While if you were in France, you most likely learned engineering through a formal education at a university, and you very likely worked for the government and military when you got out of school. In the US, we had a few engineering schools. Before 1860, there were 6 or 7 engineering schools, but most engineers were learning on the job, and most of the engineering jobs were canals. So we talked a lot about the Middlesex Canal, which did not go very well, and then we talked about the Erie Canal, which went a little better, and that one was called the First American School of Engineering. And we talked about John Jervis specifically as one of the people that started off as an axeman and worked his way up to becoming an engineer and learning on the job, just one step at a time going through it. And that is kind of the embodiment of how Americans became engineers in this time frame. And that was the majority of what we discussed in Unit 1.